Take a little time machine trip with me. America viewed their movies through the VCR, and you would have to physically move your body through the world and go to your video store and sign your life away on a piece of paper and give it to a real snotty clerk and rent movies based on shit that your friends would say you should watch, or roam the halls of the video store and see what cover art looked the most badass. I'm Keith Carmack. I am the manager of Crazy Mike's Video on Lakeway in Bellingham, and I've worked here since 2005. Crazy Mike's is a family video rental store with weird stuff in it. Like a place where you could bring in your kids or like your folks and rent something for everybody. And it's also been a place for like weirdos and like nerds where they could come in and get like the 2-disc edition of Big Trouble in Little China or something, or like all the Star Trek movies. I do feel a sense of pride at Crazy Mike's continued existence. It is the ears and eyes of the community because everybody in Whatcom County comes in here and rents something. And I can rent something out to somebody who I see like on an election flyer, and I can rent something out to somebody whose band is playing tonight. Like, this is a gateway through the community. $0.99 Tuesday, everything's $1, and the new movies come out on Tuesdays. And so there's always a lineup of people who A, want deals, B, want the new movies, and C, want both of those things. And they have been coming here on Tuesday mornings for decades. All right, bring it on in. Thank you, sir. Come get the deals. Hey, hottest deals, hottest employees. Spend your money wisely. Gravity, Thor 2, you name it, you got it. In there. I've seen families come in here who you can tell were cooped up all day and were fighting, and they get in here and they get genuinely excited about renting something. Like, there is no greater feeling for me than a dad coming in here and letting their kid get like an R-rated action movie, and then knowing that those two will go home and watch that together. That is the feeling that you would lose if it was all, you know, little Billy upstairs on his iPad watching a movie by himself. Like, that would be gone, and that would suck for me. My hopes for Crazy Mike's for the future is that we can maintain low prices and we can maintain the ability to turn the other cheek when it comes to late fees. Just to have people keep renting and to have people keep caring. Do you want to do the $1 late fee today, or do you want to get it later? Friday would be better. Sure. Because as a kid, I would come here to the video store and hang out and just mill around for hours and annoy the clerk. And like, I'm 29 now, and I get little kids in here that mill around for hours and annoy me. So it's come full circle, and it's pretty awesome. Anytime before 11 p.m.? Cool. Thanks, man. Be careful out there. Stay warm. See ya.
My name is Carl Fresky, and I am the half owner of Filmist Truth. Filmist Truth is a video rental store. We've been here since 1997. We carry about 15,000 titles right now. We used to focus more just on independent documentaries, art house films. We carry more mainstream stuff as well now, and we're still going. My co-owner and myself used to work at a different video store, but since it was part of a chain, we had to carry what the corporate people gave us to carry. And we thought it would be more fun to have a store where we got to choose what we were carrying. When we first opened the store, our goal was to have films that we thought should be available. And that's always still been the case. Every movie here has, passed through my hands at some point and is here for some reason or another. It sometimes feels like it's less important now because when we started, you couldn't just find anything on the internet. And it was more important to have films physically be available so that people could find them and see them. And I think to some extent we still do that. There's a bunch of ways in which the digital revolution has affected people's watching habits. People, if they're streaming, they're sometimes, I think, more likely to take what is there rather than seeking out something that's not there. If Netflix has 100 different titles, for streaming, you pick one of those titles. The thing about brick and mortar stores is that they do get people out of the house. A lot of people prefer to talk to a person. They prefer to get recommendations from somebody that they can talk about movies with rather than relying on a recommendation engine. Some people like the sort of serendipity of wandering physical racks and having things jump out at you rather than researching things online. And some people just like to keep money circulating in the local community rather than sending it off to a corporation that's out of state. I'm a big fan of sort of happy accidents. I think anyone who has spent time in video stores looking through dusty VHS tape shelves is familiar with the sensation of finding something that you've never heard of, but you're willing to spend $1 or $2 renting it and find something that often is terrible, but occasionally it's something amazing that you never would have found otherwise. Sometimes I will see customers recommending movies to other customers. Occasionally I will say, you should rent this movie, and another customer over here will be, oh, I saw that, that's great. I think the video store business, has an expiration date. At some point, studios will stop manufacturing physical media. I don't know how long that'll be, but I would like to stay here for as long as I can.
My name is Rob Olison, and I've worked at Trek Video since 1981. Before it was Trek Video, it was called Picture Show Theater, and we started a video store in our theater lobby, and it eventually grew into a separate standalone video store. In the early 80s, video began. We discovered that the attendance to the films was shrinking because now those films were suddenly available in a new medium. So we decided rather than compete with that medium, we would make it part of our theater. And we did this for about 2 years until we finally found a space in Fairhaven where we could move the video store. Prior to the creation of videotape, the only way to watch a movie would be to go to a theater and buy your ticket. Or if you missed it at the theater, you'd have to wait for it to turn up on television, which could be 2-3 years later. And if you missed the one time it showed on television, you essentially never had access to the film. But the paradigm shift that occurred with videotape is suddenly there could be a location in your neighborhood where you could have access to thousands and thousands of films and watch them whenever you wanted. As time went on, The development of online options for watching films became more and more practical. And as that happened, the number of video stores began to shrink. I believe at the height of the video brick and mortar store industry, there were over 40,000 stores. Today, there are less than 10,000. When video stores first began, the movie companies were very distressed about the idea that someone else owns their product. They don't like that. What they like is the theater model where you buy a ticket, you essentially rent a seat, and when the movie is over, you leave. The value in offering films through the online medium is that no one actually owns the product, owns the film, other than the film distributors. And that's a model that Hollywood has embraced since the beginning of the silent film era, and that's the model that we're moving toward. The majority of people are finding their entertainment online, and that's fine. But you have this alternative option that is still in Bellingham, still very much alive, and I think it would be a shame if that was lost. The lasting legacy of Trek Video is that it offered a local community an option to dream, an option to find new films, to be excited about a discovery that they didn't even know existed when they walked through a door. It's kind of a local branch of the Dream Factory that Hollywood represents. And I think that that is an experience that has touched thousands of people's lives. And I suspect that once local video stores are historic, that people will remember the good times.